Hello everybody, my name is Memo. This is my channel, FancyMemo. Welcome back to my channel, and welcome back to this week where I talk about the best and the worst music of 2022. Yesterday I posted my worst songs list. Today we're going to continue the bad themes and the bad vibes with the worst albums list. I've got 10 albums I want to talk about, not really, but I'm going to talk about them so you don't have to listen to these albums. But before I do that, please subscribe if you're loving this week so far. Check out my social medias, my Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and yeah, let's get started at number 10. The 10th worst album I've listened to this year. Gotta go to DJ Khaled with God Did. I will say, I said this last time and I'll say it again. I think DJ Khaled is improving. He's improving a little bit because I feel like some of the pairs, some of the artists that he's meshing together on this album makes a bit more sense. And that's kind of an issue that's been prevalent in his past albums. He's got Quavo and Takeoff on a track together, Future and Lil Baby on a track together, Don Toliver and Travis Scott on a track together. So there's a bunch of pairs and combination of artists that do make sense, but he still sprinkles in these weird mashups like Future and SZA, Kanye and Eminem and Dr. Dre. We don't need that. We don't need it. Even with the pairs that make sense, the songs are still not good. The songs are still boring. All of the artists sound like they're phoning in their performances. It really seems like that everybody on a DJ Khaled album don't really care about being on a DJ Khaled album. They mostly care about the paycheck. That's basically the thing that's been going on for years now. DJ Khaled kind of tried to do a little Donda, try to bring religion into his music, but this is like a 99-cent store Donda. It's not good. It's an improvement from his previous work these last few years, but this album is not good, and I feel like it isn't this week without having DJ Khaled in the worst albums list. So thank you, DJ Khaled, for making something that will be on the list as always. Alright, number 9 on the list. Gotta go to Drake with Honestly Nevermind. God, please don't do this again, Drake. Please never make an album like this again. I am begging you. No one asked for this. Literally no one. And it's trash, dude. Honestly Nevermind is Drake's attempt to house music, to dance music. Drake is a trend hopper, and he try to colonize house music, try to make it a thing, but it ended up being trash. The production on this thing is pretty bland, it's pretty boring, it's pretty basic. Nothing exciting, nothing that makes me want to get up and do a little boogie, There's better albums released this year that are house influenced, dance influenced. We don't need this album. Listen to Beyonce, guys. Listen to Renaissance. That's a great album compared to this shit. Drake just decided to drop his worst album this year, and I'm just gonna stick to the Drake hating agenda until he releases a decent album, because he's been releasing a lot of trash throughout the years, and this does not help his case at all. This is awful. I think it is Drake's worst album. I think it's one of the worst albums of the year because of the production and because of Drake's performances. Singing is awful. He's not really trying. He's just riffing and just doing whatever on the mic, not really caring, because he knows that his fans are stupid enough to pay for whatever he's doing. They'll take in anything that Drake does because it's Drake, and that is why he hasn't really improved that much throughout the years, because Drake knows his fans are not the brightest and they'll just listen to whatever he'll make. So yeah, trash dance music. Listen to Beyonce instead. Avoid this album. Drake singing is awful. This whole album is awful. No need to listen to this. At number 8, we've got Jack Harlow with Come Home, the Kids Miss You. Other than a few bangers, this was a very boring album. I feel like Jack tries his best to impersonate Drake at some point. Again, I'm a certified Drake hater, so if you're trying to be like Drake and failing at that, of course I'm not gonna like your music. Jack Harlow somehow lacks a lot of charisma throughout this album, which is weird because that's kind of what he's known for. His rapping is pretty bad. His lyrics are awful. There's a lot of cringy lines on this album. Some production choices are questionable, especially the beat that Pharrell gave him, that was not great. Pharrell kind of did Jack dirty there. Again, there are a few tracks I do like off of this album, but for the most part, it's boring. It could be pretty bad. First Class is on this album, so I don't think I have to speak more on that. So let's move on to number 7, which is Lil Baby's It's On Me. And I just thought this album was very boring. I did not like most of what I heard. I didn't hate this album. I didn't hate every song here, but it's a non-starter for me. It's very boring from beginning to end. I think there was only one track I really liked, and that's mostly because of the energy he has on that track and his voice sounding pretty different, which is a big thing for me, because a big reason why I don't like Lil Baby is because of his voice. So hearing his voice sounding different and hearing him have energy was insane to me. I was blown away. I couldn't believe he could do that. And I just started wondering why he doesn't do that even more. If he made more songs like Not Finished, I think I would actually like Lil Baby, but it just sounds awful to me. I can't help but think that his voice is irritating. The beats on here are basic. The features carry the album. Not a great album. Very boring. At number 6, I got Gunna with DS Forever. Probably one of the most forgettable albums in my opinion. I heard it a few times. Didn't want to hear it at all afterwards. It's boring. It's very, very boring. A lot more boring than the Lil Baby album. There's some awful tracks, of course. Awful lyrics. There's some very cringy lines on this thing. There's a song where it's basically just moaning. Pusha P is on this album. I don't like that song. There's this very weak diss to Freddie Gibbs. Gunna called him Freddie Fibs. Come on, dude. That's like the weakest diss I've ever heard. There were actually some decent trap albums released this year. This is not one of them. I think this is another non-starter. Don't bother listening to this if you haven't listened to it already. Alright, top 5. These 5 albums are the reason why I think 2022 as a whole is very overrated as a year in music. A lot of people are saying this is one of the best years in music. I don't think so, and these 5 albums are a big reason why. At number 5, I got Machine Gun Kelly with Mainstream Sellout. He's doing it again, ladies and gentlemen, with another pop punk album. After getting destroyed by Eminem in a diss battle, he's decided to do pop punk, and he is thriving in terms of commercial success, but the music itself is garbage. It's so bad. He has one of the worst singing voices I've ever listened to. He can get very annoying. He can be very corny. He is desperate for emo girls, even though he's like 32, 33, somewhere around that age range. He's like a dad desperately trying to look cool in front of his kids. And it's embarrassing. Like, this man is embarrassing. I would be embarrassed to be his friend, and I'd be embarrassed to be his fan as well. Well, part of me feels like they don't even exist to begin with, but yeah, Machine Gun Kelly fans, who hurt you? Who hurt you to the point where you think listening to Machine Gun Kelly is a good thing for you? Why? Why would you do that to yourself? Somehow this isn't even the worst album of the year. It's just at number 5. It just gets worse from here. At number 4, we got DaBaby with Baby on Baby 2. Look how garbage this album cover is. It's not even as bad as the music. The music sucks. I do like how energetic DaBaby can get. I've always thought that he could be a really good rapper with that energy and if he had good production, but unfortunately he never has good production. On Baby 2, the beats are all trash. So even if he is rapping kind of well, it still sonically sounds like garbage. But he doesn't even rap that well throughout this album. There are a lot of portions where he is just being very cringe. Some of the lyrics are embarrassingly bad. There are times where he is trying to talk about his past controversies, but in a very poor manner, and just comes across as a big baby, an immature baby. He's even brought up the Megan Thee Stallion situation, which aged poorly. It was just a very irritating listen. He even tried singing with autotune. I hated this album a lot. After this, I will never be listening to this album again. Number 3, what is worse than DaBaby? Racism. We got Tom MacDonald and Adam Calhoun with The Brave. Some of the most whiniest, weakest, saddest music you'll ever listen to. These 2 rappers are the definition of pathetic. They are sad individuals who believe that they are victims because they are white. what the fuck is wrong with you? You gotta be so ignorant, so bigoted to believe that everybody is against you just because you're white. Nobody hates Tom MacDonald because he's white. People hate Tom MacDonald because he's Tom MacDonald. He is a garbage rapper that makes cringe songs for old white Trump supporters, and he is an embarrassment to hip-hop. I would say more about Adam, but who is this guy? Just a wannabe Tom? Like, I don't know this guy. He's irrelevant. I have no idea who this guy is, but his rapping is just as bad as Tom's. They're both just as stupid. They are the reason why America has such a bad rap. These two represent some of the worst people in America, and I hope they never make music again, because the Brave was very whiny, very pathetic, and that's all I'll say. At number 2, it still gets worse from here, guys. It still gets worse. At number 2, we've got Carson with X. I kind of feel bad for having him over Tom MacDonald, but I did not like one single aspect of this album. Carson does nothing for me. The use of autotune in this album is horrendous. I hate it a lot. I think this is some of the worst usage of autotune I've ever listened to. The beats are basic. Carson obviously is just a copy of Playboi Carti. He is on opium after all. But if I want to listen to Playboi Carti, I'll just listen to Playboi Carti. I'm not gonna listen to Carson. Why would I do that? Why would I listen to a worse version of Playboi Carti? X is just an awful album to me. I would rather listen to Puppies Getting Hurt than this album again. I genuinely don't like this album. I remember the first time I attempted to listen to it, after like a minute into the first track, I had to stop because it was so bad. The autotune, it's mostly the autotune that's getting to me. But yeah, this was number 2. I do not like one thing on this album. It's truly one of the worst albums I've ever listened to. But yet, it still gets worse, because at number 1, ladies and gentlemen, it's Kid Rock with Bad Reputation. This is definitely one of the worst, if not the worst album I've ever listened to in my life, because it's kind of like the Brave by Tom MacDonald and Adam, but country. Just Kid Rock rapping about how liberals are ruining this country and how the pandemic is fake and how the frogs are turning gay. Okay, maybe not that part, but he brings up these basic arguments that Republicans bring up all the time. He's definitely catering to the Trump supporter demographic. He even has like songs about how you should be drinking beer and watching fireworks and getting strippers. Very trash type of music. And this album is just all over the place. He could be political at one point, talking about how bad masks are, and then at another point he's like using autotune and trying to sing, and then another point he's like rapping on like over a rock beat. It is chaotic. I giggled at points because of how stupid Kid Rock sounds. I think the part that irritates me the most is how much he like talks about how hard he has worked to be where he's at, even though he grew up rich. He is faking being a hardworking American because why not? Kid Rock has no morals, obviously. He is a trash human being that makes trash music. He is another example of some of the worst type of people you'll meet in America. That is why he has my number 1 spot in my worst albums of 2022 list. So let me know what you guys think. I honestly never want to listen to any of these albums ever again, but yeah, you let me know. Have you heard some of these albums? I hope not. If you're liking List Week so far, please subscribe. I'll appreciate it a lot. Check out my social media. Check out my Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. If you like the video, makes sense, right? Comment down below, what is the worst album of the year in your opinion for 2022? If you like music-related content like this, please subscribe, since that is what I do here. And yeah, I'm done. So thank you guys for watching. I love you guys. Goodbye.